Hello everyone and welcome back to me. Clothes. We all low-key need them. Clothes are a form of self-expression, at least for me, and I think for a lot of other people as well. What I wear is something that's extremely important to me, and it always has been. I used to play dress up with this one purple fairy outfit that was like my favorite. When I was little, I had these platform sketches that I was so scared of growing out of, which obviously I did at some point, and I'm still Devo. When I was 10, I wanted my favorite color to be orange so I could be different to everyone. I had this one orange shirt and it was my favorite thing ever. When I was a teenager, I had all my different Tumblr style outfits because that was the time. That's another reason why I make so many of my clothes, or I alter them, because I just like to express myself in that way. That's one of the reasons why I'm so happy to be able to make my own shirts now and put my designs on them. By the way, buy my shirt, buy it. When I'm designing or redesigning a character, the clothes is the most important part of the design. So today I wanted to talk about how I dress characters and my overall process. Now, disclaimer, I did not go to school for this. I have no official or educated knowledge on character design, just a lot of opinions and some experience. I design characters a lot and people like them, so I've just thought, I don't know, this was just my idea for a video. I also may switch between talking about just clothing and talking about design in general. Just let me do what I need to do, okay? I've broken down my process into really vague steps. Here we go! Step 1, character. The first step is to have a character to dress. If it's an original character, an idea usually comes to mind where I'm like, what if I drew another space girl, but like she's really alienish and maybe she has like 2 other sisters and they're like monochrome and they all kind of like match but they're different, and then I just draw that, which is what I'm doing right here. Haha. If it's a pre-existing character, which it often is, usually it pops into my head like, oh, if Vinyl Scratch from My Little Pony was human, she'd look like this, and then I have a really vague concept in my head already ready to go. I think for me a really important thing is that I already have an idea. If I go into it with no idea at all, I can't design anything. I also need to know about the character and their personality and like what they do before I can just go into it and design something from the scratch. With a character that I know, even if I think that I don't know enough or I could know more, I actually go and research the character. Even like when I redesigned the Bratz dolls, I researched them a little bit. Even though I've known Bratz my whole life, it's good to know little details about characters. Really helps when it comes to making a design or doing a redesign. For example, when I designed the okayyyyy characters, I took into consideration their character types and their role in the show, and even their ages, which aren't really official, but they're kind of perceived to be different child ages. Even though I made them into adult human versions of themselves, I still had that in consideration. And why do we do all this? For step 2. Step 2, I just call why. This is actually the most important step of the entire thing. It's called why because every piece of clothing I ask myself, why are they wearing this? It's not something that's subconscious, like I really have to think about why I'm choosing every single piece of clothing and every little character design element. This is why I can't design characters that I don't really know about, because the options become too broad. Like if I don't know anything about them, they could be wearing anything. It's not just about aesthetics and what would look good. It's actually about the character themselves and what they would want to be wearing. I guess this is kind of just, it's not really a step, it's kind of just a thing to think about throughout the entire process, but it is the most important thing. So step 3 is references. So we have our character and we have an idea and we're thinking, what would they wear, what would they wear and why? I actually used to not reference anything like at all, even like 2 years ago. So there are plenty of examples of my character designs where I didn't really look at references much and everything kind of just came off the dome or like from my imagination, kind of including the one that we're watching right now. My Monster High design and my My Little Pony designs, neither of them used much research on clothes. Definitely a lot of the why aspect of it still. I didn't really look up or made like a lookbook for any of them. I kind of was just thinking, what would Draculaura wear? Draculaura's preppy, but she's stylish. She loves style, she loves fashion, she's preppy, but she's clearly gothic. So I would say it's not something that was always in my process, but now that I do it, it helps so much and I really recommend it. So I use Pinterest and a lot of my general design ideas or like a lot of things that you probably see if you see my different designs, you see over and over, just come from my general like homepage of Pinterest. Like that is my style in real life, and so I implement it into my characters. But when I'm looking for very specific styles, the first thing I say to myself, what style would this character actually wear? Because we all have a particular style, and so do characters. For example, when I did Poppy from Trolls, I think Poppy is a maximalist. I think she'd wear fluffy layers, kind of like Decora, kind of Harajuku style. I know that's kind of a vague... Harajuku is like a kind of a vague statement because it is just a place, but that's the type of thing that I looked up when I was looking up things to dress Poppy in. Another example, Katsuma from Moshi Monsters is cool and flashy. I think they'd wear something striking, but also kind of simple, and I thought maybe they'd wear like a hood that covers their face so they're really like mysterious. And then it made me think, I feel streetwear, like streetwear is cool. You can do like layers, be bundled up, but still look sick. Finding clothing references also really helps solidify the idea that you already have in your brain. So instead of going into it like semi-blind and kind of just making things up as you go, you have a more solid visualization of the design. If you make a little like lookbook, it really helps. Like, trust me, it really helps. So step 4, I call sketching and vibing. This is just my process at the end of the day, like I said. Really, it's just making stuff up. Like, I have my lookbook, I have my character, and I kind of just go for it and see what happens. I think an important thing to do is to not be afraid to start over or switch up halfway through, or even, you know, finish an entire design and start over because you hate it, which happens. I kind of just do what feels good and always thinking, considering the why of why the character would wear that and how the item represents them, and I just draw stuff. Step 5, color. So I hate picking colors. I absolutely hate it. The one good thing about pre-existing characters is that they already have a color palette. I let the colors lead, but you shouldn't be afraid of adding a little accent or something like that. I usually add like 1 or 2 accents. Going through my designs to talk about it, I realized a lot of the time I add yellow. I don't know why. I add yellow. Mostly when I'm doing color, I just try and make sure there are variation in the colors and the values and the tones. You don't want things to blend into each other too much. For this drawing, the colors are pretty monochromatic because I was too lazy to really think about it. But still, I try to have different tones and slight color variations, as well as like the accent colors. When I draw in groups, I actually try and make them all visually as different as possible. Kind of instead of focusing on like how cohesive they are as a unit, I actually try and make them different but from the same set. I guess it's kind of hard to describe. I just try to not be afraid to make weird color choices, but color is the hardest bit for me. Honestly, I'm not an expert at all. It takes a long time and I really just make things up and just hope for the best. Step 6 is you're finished. Did you like it? Do you like what you made? Sometimes I'll come back and add things later, even only like 20 minutes later. Like I'll stop what I'm doing and then I'll be like, and then I'll add something, or maybe the next day, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, were you considering the why? Why is the character wearing that? And did you do a good job at representing them in this way through their fashion and clothes? And hopefully the answer is yes. For instance, I do think Upsy Daisy would look like this in human form. And with that, you're done. And sometimes you won't be happy with it, but that's okay because it's just experimenting and having fun, honestly. It's actually ironic that I'm talking about this over this time lapse because this was a very quick and lazy version of what I've been talking about in this video. I kind of just let my hands draw whatever. As I drew them, the designs got better within the hour and 45 minutes that I spent just doodling these out. This was kind of just an exercise for me because I hadn't drawn for a while. My concept at the end of the day was 3 alien sisters, and that's what I got. And even though they were lazy, they brought joy to people, and that's awesome and epic. Thank you so much for watching and listening to my Yapatron. Please support me, follow me on stuff. I've got Instagram, I've got Twitter, I've got YouTube. Oh, and also buy my shirt so you can look cool like me. Also, once they sell, I'll probably be making a new design. So if you like this design, like, get it. Come and get it, okay? Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go. Thank you, bye. See you later.